I sent it to you twice.
There we go. Boom. Yeah, no, I already have it.
Oh, okay.
I'm coming in now.
All right. We are live in all the places.
My mic is good.
OBS. Stream.
All right. I requested.
All right, cool. By the way, is my mic echoey for you?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to install because this new room is like,
Yeah.
I don't know why it just
Bouncing off the wall. The funny part is like the design behind you almost looks like those sound cushions, but it's not.
True.
Maybe you should just put them up since it already looks like it.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll just do that. Yeah, it's just I recorded that Leo strategy video and it was so echoey and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the next AMA is going to be rough and then I'll try to figure it out from there.
Yep.
All right. I'm recording everything.
All right.
Yeah, let me get a mic check on you in the space.
Yeah, we always have to see. It's already being stupid. I don't know why X loves to hate my microphone. How about now? Nope.
Nope.
Oh my God. It's going to do this again.
Oh, I heard something.
Test.
No.
Now it's not even doing anything.
It was for a second.
It does this every time. Like it defaults to like, nope, that ain't. Nope. It teased me.
I heard it for a second.
Test.
I keep hearing like when you do something, I hear like a flicker and then it disappears.
Yeah, when I'm switching to the to like the mic option.
Oh.
Test. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. It worked for a second. It's not. I'm assuming it's not working.
No.
Dude, why does it always do this? You know what? I'm gonna drop out the space and come back in.
All right. Yeah, I'll just keep people entertained for a second. Welcome everybody. We are back with the AMA. We had a 2-week hiatus while some IRL stuff was worked out. I see a couple of you are already in the Threadcast. Welcome. Got a lot to talk about, but not a lot of time. So Mitch and I have about 20 minutes. We apologize for a quick AMA, but we will try to make it action-packed, full of the info that you need, and then we will we'll jump out of here. But there'll be more AMAs to come. And I was on the Lion's Den last Friday and covered a lot of topics too. So still don't hear you on the space.
I don't think it's working. Yep.
Trying.
This is so annoying. Test.
Still get the same like whoop sound and then you're gone.
Why does X hate me?
Where are you trying to change your mic? Is it
on X? Like, because when I get in, you know, it's like you have the microphone thing, and then there's an arrow, and you can click that, and it shows you all your microphone options. And for some reason, it defaults to like my webcam. So then I switch it to my microphone. I mean, my webcam does have a mic, but it doesn't sound like that one's. I'll try it. I don't think it works either. Yeah, that one doesn't even go live. So, dude, this is ridiculous. I don't know really what to do. It's like, I think last time I had to close my entire browser and restart. You know what? Let me try that.
Do you have another browser you could try to join with?
That's what I'm going to do. Let me try and open it.
All right. I'll just keep giving the updates while you do that.
Yes, sir.
You guys can hear. Oh, yeah. You guys can probably hear me. You won't be able to hear Mitch for a second. He's going to work on the spaces. They're never easy. But yeah, we, a couple quick updates before, we get into actual questions. But we've been working on a lot of stuff for LeoDex. If you've been kind of checking the LeoDex UI, you'll know some of the stuff that's been released already. If you haven't checked it in the last like 24 hours, I would give it a look because we've released a ton of stuff, even just literally in the last day. So today we're actually going to publish, the first announcement of some of this new stuff. So we've kind of rolled out a lot of stuff and we've been testing it, seeing how it works in production before we've done actual announcements. But there's a handful of things. So the one we're going to announce today is yTCY and yRUNE, which are actual index products that are built on Ruggira network on Thorchain. So these are the first actual Ruggira products that we've supported so far, and we plan to support a lot more. So after these, I think probably Perps will be next, either that or Auto Ruggira, which is an autonomous, essentially DeFi product. But we are, we're kind of working down this roadmap of supporting more things from Ruggira, which is exciting because they're building kind of long tail DeFi products. So it's really going to, like right now, LeoDex is mainly for, swapping and sending. That's like the main things you can do on it. And we're slowly starting to add more and more DeFi layers and financial features to it, which is making it obviously more of a hub for, really everything DeFi. And that's the goal is, the tagline is make DEX feel like sex. But another, big aspect of that is, finding your best swap is another tagline I tend to use. And, so when people come to LeoDex or think about LeoDex, they should think, this is the place I can go if I want to get the absolute best price and most efficient swap for any asset to any other asset. And that, so, yTCY and yRUNE, look out for the blog post on that because it'll kind of explain how those work and how to use them. But they're live on the TCY page if you want to go get a head start. And that kind of leads us into, in terms of finding your best swap, we just added near intents. So that is the 6th protocol that we support. So now we support Thorchain, Maya, Chainflip, Rango, Relay, and near intents. So we now have 6 different protocols and hundreds of assets, and we'll just kind of keep adding more protocols as they come up. Near intents is relatively new, but they're starting to do a ton of volume. So their volume's been growing exponentially, and they include, Zcash is one of the assets they support. So now we have 2 routes for Zcash. You can either do Maya or you can do near intents, and then they've got a bunch of other assets. And one thing that's cool about near intents is they're super efficient. So oftentimes you'll see like a Bitcoin to ETH swap is very cheap on near intents. So again, we kind of have something for everybody, and the goal is find your best swap. So we've got that, and then perps are coming soon. Order books are coming soon. So that will add kind of a more centralized exchange feel to things, even while we're, maintaining obviously that it's a DEX. So, imagine going to LeoDex and there's a trade page versus the swap page. And if you go to the trade page, it looks like, essentially looks like if you loaded up a pair on Binance and you looked at that page. That's what that page actually looks like. And it taps into Ruggira perps. So it's perpetual futures. It also will tap into order books. And we plan to add other, perps and order book protocols. So very similar to how we're doing it with swaps. Like we built swaps for a few protocols, really refine the experience. We're still refining the experience. And then we just continue to add more protocols. We're gonna do the same thing with like perps and order books and other things like that, where we release support for like perps and order books for Ruggira. And then, we refine that, we make it better. Then we can actually add more protocols. So like, Phantom has perps, Hyperliquid has perps and order books. And we can add all those, and we can have, different protocols supported with all the different order books and perps. So again, we're just really bringing in kind of the best of all DeFi and putting it into LeoDex. So it's going to be, come to LeoDex to find your best swap, your best trade, your best perps. So that is really the key to what we're building here. And I'm very excited about it. Mitch, do you want to give your mic a try before I keep going?
I've been trying. It ain't working. I did new browser, new everything. I don't know what the deal is. I'm trying all my mic options. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I still can't hear you.
Exactly. It's just nope. I don't know what the deal is. It won't recognize any of my microphones. I'm
I
fine
don't
on every other app,
know.
just not this. So I will just be a observer, and I will interact in the threadcast.
Yeah, well, we can. You know what we can do is, if you're in the space, just go to the YouTube, because you'll be able to hear Mitch there. So I'll actually just shut down the space. So if you're hearing me now, close the space and go to YouTube, and we'll just do no X space today. We'll figure it out for next week. So last reminder: go to the YouTube if you're in the space. I'm ending it right now, but we're still on YouTube. All right, ended that. So Mitch, you're good to go. We're just going to do.
Fail. That's fine.
You know, sometimes I wish we could just not do spaces, but that's like where we get most of the audience.
Yeah. Well, I think since it was a last minute one, there was only a few people in the spaces anyway.
Yeah, there were only a handful of people in there. So if you're in the, spread the word, I guess.
That's
everywhere.
fine. I tend to interact in the threadcast more anyway. I'm always responding to stuff in there, just like written rethreading. But cool.
Yeah, I saw Ahmad Manga said, "Wait, you have Near? Isn't it an AI crypto? Didn't know they do swaps too." Yeah, Near. So Near, there's something called Near protocol, and that is like an AI. You know, they do a lot of different things. But then they released something called Near Intense, which is essentially like a DEX protocol that they've built. That is what we've integrated to LeoDex. So it uses Near Intense. What I think is really fascinating about the way Near Intense work, and the name kind of gives it away, is the way it works is you basically put out an intent that you want to trade, 1 Bitcoin for 100 ETH, just to make math really simple. And you put out that intention, and then anybody can fill that intention. So if they can bring the 100 ETH and you brought the 1 Bitcoin, then they fill the intention, and that is what an intent is. And it's basically a swap that gets, kind of combines two people together, almost like an OTC, but automated through a DEX. So it's actually really fascinating, and it's why Near Intents have some of the best pricing of any DEX protocol. So we actually quietly added this over the last couple of days, and we've been testing it a lot. And then, I'm pretty excited about having it on the UI. I think it'll open us up to a lot more volume. But yeah, now we've got 6 different protocols. So it's getting pretty interesting. I think LeoDex has done a little bit over 5 million in the last week in terms of trading volume. We're continuing to grow and expand not only the swapping capabilities of LeoDex, but kind of like what I was saying is, the other capabilities, like the index products were just added today, and those will get announced in a blog post, later today. And then we also added, a bunch of other features like smart sorting. So you can now, you can sort by protocol, you can sort by price, you can sort by, how fast a trade is. So if you go to LeoDex now, you'll see a little thing that looks like a filter icon right above all the routes on the right side. And if you tap on that, it'll say smart sort, and then you can see all those options I just mentioned. But adding that was important because now we've got 6 different routes. So it's starting to get to the point where, if we have 10 different routes, we want you to be able to easily sort through all of those. And perhaps you only like to trade on Thorchain, or you only like to trade on Maya, or you only like to trade on Chainflip, or Rango, or Relay, or Near Intense.
Sometimes you just need speed over cost, or sometimes you want cheaper over speed.
Exactly. Sometimes you want cheap. Sometimes you want fast. Sometimes you want, a specific protocol for whatever reason. You get to decide all of that, and that's what smart sorting is about. So that's the other feature that we released.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and that other than that, a lot of bug fixes and just quality of life fixes, UX fixes. We added Thorchain support for Kepler wallet, so that was kept getting asked for. So we now have Kepler with Thorchain supported.
Nice.
Yeah, I know Kepler's heavily used in the Thorchain ecosystem. So.
Oh wow, I use I know the Atom token, Cosmos, Kepler's the wallet. In fact, that just reminded me, I have some Atom I've been sitting on that I'm just waiting to sell on a good pump. So That's cool. I can sell it through LeoDex now.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Rainbow Dash had a question, and one of them is probably no, because LeoDex is an interface. It's not a sex, because it says Binance type order books would be awesome. But I mean,
Actually, yes.
wait,
So that is,
what? How?
yeah. So limit orders, perpetual futures, order books in general. So that is actually the next thing that we're building. We're already
That
on
is
it. I'll give you guys a little sneak
super.
peek.
I guess I thought order books wouldn't be a thing, because LeoDex is an interface that's basically just setting up like really like routes, like transactional routes. So it's like, how would it show order books, because it's really like pulling from all the places.
Right. So this is where things get kind of interesting. So right now, LeoDex does swaps, and it uses 6 different protocols to basically route your swap. Order books and the way we're building it is essentially the same thing. So it's just giving you the order books, and it's showing you which protocol it's routing those order books from. So for example, if you go to Hyperliquid, there's DEX order books, and there's perpetual futures and whatnot. LeoDex is just building an interface that taps into Hyperliquid's order books. And then if you want to do a trade, you just fill in all the details and you hit trade, and it goes through Hyperliquid. Or, for example, we'll also have Ruggiero perps on there. That's actually going to be the first one we do. So for example, you want to trade, Bitcoin perpetuals, you'll actually just go to this new trade. So right now we have the swap page, right? There's going to be another page called trade. And it's going to be designed very similar to like Binance, for example, in the order books. And you'll go there and you'll select perps, and then you'll be able to see the order books for perps. And it's tapped into Ruggiero on the back end. So yeah, that's all. I want to say probably by end of next week, maybe the week after. Probably, I would say within the next 2 weeks is when that's going to happen. And that's a whole other fee structure, by the way. So that's a whole other way that we earn fees. So like we earn fees on every swap with perps and order books and whatnot. That's a whole other fee that we earn when people trade those.
Nice.
Yeah. So you will go to here. I'll just pull this up for you guys. Just keep in mind this is a design. So it may or may not look exactly like this. It's gonna be pretty similar to this, though. So keep that in mind. I will put this in the threadcast. I'm still working on a few of these aspects, but the devs have already gotten started. So I'll just show you what we got for right now. Yeah, this is the first time I've shared it, but let's see here. I'm excited. I don't know if you can tell, but I think it's going to be. It's huge.
That's a whole.
It completely changes the game.
That's a whole like segment of features that I don't even think was on the drawing board. So yeah, it's exciting.
I'm very excited about it. And I have an idea about. I don't know if that shocks anybody, but I have an idea on how to integrate swapping into an interface that looks like this. So there's actually going to be a tab. I think you actually can see it in here.
I mean, this literally looks like it doesn't look like a DEX. It looks like literally like your typical sex type exchange layout with wow.
Yep,
that's wild.
That's the goal. I want people to open it and think that they opened Binance. Like that's my goal.
It's wild.
And you just connect your wallet and you start trading, and it's that easy. You're connected with your own wallet. But you'll see actually in that mockup, there's a swaps tab. So I actually have an idea on how to integrate swapping into that style of interface. But it's essentially going to look like order books, but instead of actual bids and asks, it just shows you the pools. Where it gets really cool is my idea is that so we have 6 protocols, right? And you could foresee a future where we have like 10, 15, 20 protocols for swaps. My idea is that on the bid and ask side, it's actually going to show you each individual protocol. So try to picture this in your head. You're looking at like the BTC ETH trading pair on this trade page, and it shows you bids and asks, but the bids and asks are actually the different protocols and the pricing that you get on those protocols. So for example, picture, I hope I'm explaining this well, but picture, you put in a Bitcoin to ETH swap on LeoDex's swap page, and it gives you the 6 different routes and all the different prices and the times and whatnot. Picture that overlaid to this interface where it shows you 6 different bids and 6 different asks for BTC/ETH. And, near intent has the best price. So it's going to be at the, at the top of the bid and ask order books. I hope that makes sense. And then you'll below that, you'll see Rango, you'll see Relay, you'll see Thorchain, Maya, Chainflip, and you'll see them on each side, essentially just paired with each, with the correct data. So it's like, if near intent is offering you the best price, then it's going to be at the top of the ask book, but it may also say that it's slightly slower. So it'll give you all that information, but it's going to be styled like an order book. And I don't think anybody has done this. I've looked around. I don't see anybody that's done it. So I think we'll be the first. We'll be the first to do that. So the rollout plan is to build this interface and do swapping first. So it's actually going to take essentially our swapping backend, and put it to this front end. And then we're going to add perps, and then we're going to add order books and other things, directly in line after it. But you can kind of see in that screenshot that all the different tabs will let people choose, do I want to swap, but I want to do it with an order book style, or do I want to, do a perps trade, or do I want to do, an order books trade? You can do whatever you want. And then there's also be like a protocol drop down where you can actually just select whichever protocol you want to.
Man, LeoDex is really evolving.
I think LeoDex, I'm very confident that there's a future where LeoDex is doing billions of dollars a year in trading volume, several billions. And, if that sounds crazy to you, we did 5 million in the last week. And if you multiply that by 52 weeks, that would be 260 million. So we're already, if we consistently did that kind of volume, that would be $1 billion a year. Or we're 1/4 of the way to $1 billion a year. So
love it.
So I could see a future where we do tens of billions of dollars a year, to be completely honest with you.
More fees, locking up more Leo.
Yeah. And keep in mind, all those 100% of those fees starting on September 23rd get paid to the SLEO contract autonomously. And those fees get claimed, you can harvest those fees as a Leo holder. And 2 of the big Leo holders are LeoStrategy and the POL. So the POL right now holds, I think, about 400,000 Leo, and LeoStrategy has like slightly over 2.3 million, I think. And 100% of that Leo is in SLEO, and then the POL does this automatically, and then LeoStrategy obviously does this as well for their fund. But all the USDC that they earn from the LeoDex affiliate fees auto compounds into Leo. So that creates permanent buying pressure on Leo. So essentially what happens is assume that between POL and LeoStrategy, I think what's logical in the future is that they own probably 50% of all SLEO, which means that half of the USDC earned by LeoDex is actually auto compounding back into Leo and creating permanent buy pressure. Literally every day they're just buying more and more. And by the way, they're compounding. So if you want to compete with them, you also have to compound and buy more Leo. Otherwise, your share of USDC, and I'm talking from the perspective of an individual user, your share of the USDC, the percentage you get is actually going to go down over time because the POL and LeoStrategy are going to keep compounding and growing. They might be 25% starting on September 23rd, but then every day it's just going to be another, 1%, 2%, 3% higher. And in the long run, they get to 50%, 51%, 55%, 60%. And if anyone wants to earn USDC rewards, it's essentially competitive. Like you have to buy more Leo in order to get more USDC rewards, which then creates more utility for the Leo token. So I think we haven't run, and I was talking to Mitch a little bit pre-show, but if you imagine a future where like 15, 20 million Leo is locked up in LeoStrategy and POL, well, that leaves like 10 million Leo for the rest of us. Well, what's going to happen to that other 10 million Leo? It's just going to have to skyrocket in price because, you have this, not only do you have users who want to get access to the USDC rewards and really just the upside of Leo in general, you also have the POL and LeoStrategy that are continually compounding more Leo and permanently locking it and taking it out of the market. So, you know, the 10 million that's out there in the market in the future will actually keep dropping as well. And then you also have bridge fees, which are burning more Leo. So that 10 million just keeps going down, 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 down. And you'll see kind of a similar impact to what happened with Bitcoin, which is, you know, once the demand started really catching up to where the supply scarcity was, you started seeing, that's when Bitcoin went from, you know, $300 to $30,000, was because the scarcity was in place. And once the demand started picking up, really you have to keep increasing the price in order to find sellers. So like right now, there's not that many people that want to sell their Leo at, you know, what we're at now, which is like 12 cents. At 25 cents, there were more people willing to sell their Leo. So that's why we went from 25 to 12. At 50 cents, there's going to be people that want to sell their Leo. So we may go down a little bit. At $1, there's going to be people that want to sell their Leo. But eventually, you run through all those sellers. So at $1, you run through all the sellers. There's no more sellers at $1. Well, now you have to go to $1.25, and then you find all the sellers at $1.25. And then you go to $2, find all the sellers at $2. What happens when you're done with them? You go to $3, and then $10, $100, $1,000, and it just keeps going. And and it's only possible because of permanent buyers. And what's that?
So we need the liquidity heat map.
You know what's funny is there's actually a heat map designed into this interface that I just shared.
Yeah, I mean that obviously isn't going to touch. Yeah, that's not going to touch on, you know, people that hold you know, Hive-based Leo, you know, from back in the day, because you know, that's really the first wave of sellers, which is probably, you know, where a lot of selling happened on this way up. Is
old
people
holders.
that, yeah, like just people that, you know, got Leo early on, and it's just like they're not involved in Leo, and all of a sudden like they're like, oh crap, this is actually worth something. Let me take a little payday, which I know is true because I mean I did an over the counter purchase from an, like, you know, an old school hiver that, you know, had Leo that they were just sitting on. So those sellers are getting eaten up. So
yeah, they're, I mean,
the old Leo coins from like the launch, you know what I mean? You know, in the initial airdrop and all that stuff, like those coins are getting eaten up. Which speaking of, so I know a bunch of the stuff's going live late September, the staking, all that. I saw someone ask about the LeoDex airdrop. When does that kick off? Is that when the staking goes live, or
the LeoDex airdrop is already live?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I know it's active in terms of earning airdrop, but as far as coins getting dropped, like the airdrop people earn, when does that happen?
So yeah, sometime. So it's already been happening. We've been having a little bit of issues with the claiming, but we've essentially had to do it all manually because the claiming module we built is just not working very well.
Gotcha.
Since it's like a temporary thing, like, you know, that once the airdrop's over, there's not going to be more airdrops. So, you know, we've decided, you know, just fuck the airdrop automated claiming thing. We're just going to do it manually. Gotcha. So all the claims are happening in real time, and then we're sending them out periodically. Okay.
And then where would someone like verify that? Is that like being dropped as a Leo, or where's that?
It's Leo. Yeah. Native Leo. So that's on Arbitrum.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so if someone went to LeoDex and they check basically their wallet, they can see, you know, transactions, look at transfers, go to Arbitrum, and then they would see said coins have been dropped or not. Makes sense.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. It is 7 after. I know you needed to jump to 1. So if you got any last parting words or.
Yeah, no, sorry guys that this was a quick one. You know, we're still kind of getting everything settled in. You know, next week we'll aim for a full AMA. But yeah, there's a lot. Hopefully you're excited. I'm just so excited about everything that's happening between LeoDex, you know, obviously, which is my main focus, but then also the separate team that's doing the Leo strategy. You know, build out is really incredible and fascinating. Like their progress is insane. So, you know, Surge is live. Go buy some Surge to support what they're building. But what they're building essentially is a permanent capital vehicle that just continues to acquire Leo, like I was saying before. And, you know, that acquisition of Leo is getting staked on LeoDex, earning USDC, and then being a permanent buyer for more Leo in the future. So it's just going to make Leo, the more that Leo strategy accumulates, the more scarce Leo becomes, the higher the price is going to go in the long run. So very excited about what they're building. I know the market maker is on the way, and they've been working on Surge.yield. I saw Maury say something about Surge.yield. I know they're working on some updates on that. And the market maker, I think, is the most fascinating part. So that's going to be live probably in the next week, is what they told me. And then on the Leo AI front, AI has been doing super well for us. The agents are, continuously getting built out. Actually, Leo strategy is where we've been building an AI agent for Leo strategy that works very similar to Leo.alerts. So it will track all of their buybacks and then post them as threads in real time. So we've been building that agent for them, but then agents in general have been doing really well. So really all the different aspects of Leo have really converged and come together very nicely. So look out for the blog post today about yRUNE and yTCY. We worked with the NAMI team, which is a Ruggira team who built those products. So the index products are already live. LeoDex.io/TCY is where you can find them. Also, another thing I didn't mention before, but we can talk about it next time. We just released a huge SEO update. So now whenever blog posts get written, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a new blog section on LeoDex. It's tapped directly into InLeo. So now official blog posts get pushed to LeoDex, and then we pushed a huge SEO update, which uses AI to rank our blog posts on Google and other search engines in order to try to drive traffic to LeoDex and try to get people to swap. So that is something we spent a lot of time on. And we've also got something big coming for that ties into InLeo later. So we'll have to leave it on the cliffhanger for that, and I'll explain it all maybe next week. Mitch, any closing thoughts?
No, man. Keep on building. Love it.
Build. All right.
That's right. And then hopefully come next Tuesday, Bitcoin will have rebounded off of its recent little dip and drag all the coins. So we'll see. Also look like they want to do something, but then they kind of petered out again. So we'll see. But in the meantime, build Leo.
Keep building. That's all we do.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So see you all next week.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, everybody.